On day 1, I loaded up the world and I spawned into a village. After finding a tree, I cut it down. I then made some stone tools, and I went exploring. And after a day of walking around the entire world, I found another plains village, and I found 2 dogs, which I accidentally bred. So now I have 3. And luckily this blacksmith, or village, has a blacksmith. All of day 3, I went around looking for a good place to build my base. And on day 4, I decided to start terraforming this somewhat close hill to the village I found. And I thought it was a really good place to start building. I finally finished flattening the area at the end of day 6. And you'll see that those 2 chests, those are still there at the end of 100 days. At the end of day 7 is when I decided to start building my actual house. I found a cool design online and I decided to copy it with a couple of changes to make it more my own. Took me a while, but on day 29 I finished the house. It is pretty big, so, we're gonna have a lot of room later on. I decided that if I wanted to survive, I'm going to need some food, so I decided to build a cow farm and a chicken farm. And on day 35, after getting all the materials I needed, I decided to go to the nether. After loading into the nether, I saw that we spawned in right next to a bastion, and decided that going in would be way too dangerous right now. On day 41 through 50, I was working on making an enchanting table so that I can eventually go to the end and kill the ender dragon, hopefully without dying, so I can better survive these 100 days. After finishing the enchanting room, I needed to go grab some quartz so that I can get some XP, so I can actually enchant my armor. On day 60, I started working on a brewing room, which you do not see me use a single time throughout these entire 100 days. On day 65, I went to the nether to mine some more quartz so I can enchant. And then I went home and finished building the rest of the brewing room. Day 66, I'm back in the nether, but this time it's to collect blaze rods so I can make ender pearls. Actually, no, eyes of ender. And then I can go to the end. On day 70, I finally mustered up the courage to go into the bastion so I can trade with piglins to get the rest of the ender pearls that I need. On day 77, I found a stronghold and I decided that I would wait until I would go into the end because honestly at this point I'm still pretty nervous about dying because I'm on day 77, that's pretty much 100. But after a few more days of preparation, I jumped into the portal and I dove into the end. Then I reached the center of the end island where I started shooting down the end crystals to stop the dragon from regenning. It was an epic battle and I had many close calls. Like, for example, when this guy knocked me off and I had a water bucket clutch. I didn't succeed in the water bucket clutch, but I still survived. I'm not sure how, but I did. And I'm not complaining. After 10 minutes of fighting the dragon, I got it low enough where I could then strike the final blow. I then proceeded to collect my prize of the egg and the many levels of XP I had collected. I think I forgot to show me building this room, but this is my treasure room. This is where I'm going to put all my most valuable stuff later on. After returning to the end, the next logical step was to go through an end gateway so I can find a ship and get Elytra. In my first city, I didn't get a ship, nor on my second one, or even on my third one. But finally, after searching for hours, on my 4th end city, I found the ship, and I collected my Elytra. On day 85, I made it back home, and I found another elytra on my way back from the last end city I visited. Day 86 is when I started grabbing materials to build an Enderman XP farm, which will allow me to finally fully enchant my tools and the rest of my armor. It took me 2 whole days to collect the materials I needed, and in total it probably took me about like 5 hours to build the entire thing. After finishing building the XP farm, I spent the next 5 days working on collecting as much XP as I could. When I got back the next day, I finally enchanted my helmet, which is one of the last things I needed to enchant. And finally, for the day you all been waiting for, day 100. Now, I didn't do anything special because, well, I plan on doing some more stuff and I don't want to get too far ahead. But I really appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe, and yeah, it'd help out a ton. But yeah, for this final day, I just kind of did chores, fed the animals, just basic stuff. Anyway, if you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It would help out a ton, and I will see you all next time. Maybe for 200 days. Maybe.